Yep.
I do not have faith in Iron Fawn's EX.
Yeah, it's a deck that, I can see on paper why people have played it, right? That initialization ability, stopping all Pokemon ability with rule box on your opponent's side of the field if it's in the active. It seems strong. I'm just not really convinced by that attack, 140 and you have to move an energy away. Doesn't really fill me with confidence, but we've already seen on the meta breakdown that it's a very popular deck right now.
Yeah, we do have one copy of Cancelling Cologne in Fabien's deck, as we would expect. So that's going to be an option at one point during the game to turn that ability off. That's going to be nice. Problem is, it's one option at one point during the game. Yes. Oh, actually, okay, I can give away the secret now.
Right, okay.
Well, Fabien Pujol just so happens to be playing the Jesper version of this deck. It's playing a 1-1 Rabska line.
Wow.
Now, Rabska protects your bench very much like the old Machoke did.
Yes.
But Relor, single energy, 30 damage, 10 to itself, takes a while to take down a Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon, but it will get there eventually. It's a new version of this Charizard list we're not used to, but it plays a 1-1 Rabska line, it plays Cancelling Cologne, a single copy of Temple of Sinnoh. It is not the list you're used to.
No, it's really not. And that Rabska's really interesting because not only does it prevent damage done to your bench Pokemon, it also effects of attacks as well. So a Lost Mine, for example, also wouldn't work. Not going to be super relevant in this matchup, but worth noting. As we are going to look at the prize cards here now, nothing too impactful, Pidgey, and the Pheasantipity prize there for Fabien. That is obviously his only copy of Pheasantipity, so there will be no flipping off the script, at least until a Hisuian Heavy Ball is played. Looking over there, Owyn, prizes seem okay. One copy of Iron Thorns, a Future Booster Energy Capsule, and a couple of energy there. Not too bad, I would say.
No, not too bad at all. There's 8 basic lightning in the deck, so getting rid of 2 of them is a bit awkward, but it's not the end of the world. That's what we're going to need to watch for Owyn here. Can he keep the energy coming in the first couple of turns? That's going to be a big thing to look out for, but as long as we can keep the energy coming, I think we're going to be okay here. So we're getting into round 3 of the Pokemon trading card game World Championships. We've got Owyn Kamerman, one of the best players in Europe, sitting at 2-0. We got Fabien Pujol, one of the best players in Europe, sitting at 2-0. And that is a problem if you win at the World Championships. You just keep playing better players, and it looks like we're starting off with Owyn here.
Yeah, Owyn's going to start us off here in our round 3. Someone will be losing their undefeated. Oh, it's just going to see an energy attachment to the active and a pass over to Fabien, who is led Radiant Charizard.
I mean, that's kind of your perfect turn 1, though. You're not going to play many other Pokemon.
Yep.
You want to attach an energy. That's kind of what Iron Thorns does. I mean, a second Iron Thorns would be nice, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it's reacting to your opponent with stuff like Crushing Hammer, as we see an Arven come down here for Fabien, and looks like we're going to grab ourselves. Is that TM Evolution?
Yeah, it is a TM Evolution, a fantastic tool card. Given you can attach it to a Pokemon and then it gains the Evolution attack for 1 colorless energy, you can then evolve 2 of your benched basic Pokemon. Love to see it. Looks like Fabien is going to be conducting a little bit of a prize check here as well. Does have the Hisuian Heavy Ball move to the front as well. Arven, a fantastic supporter of us, letting you grab a tool card and an item. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, Arven is huge. Sees a lot of play in a lot of decks. It's a kind of card that's particularly good in the meta we're in at the moment because we've got stuff like TM Evolution. We've got our A-Spec tools like Hero's Cape and Maximum Belt and things like that. And of course, our old friend Forest Seal Stone that lets you search for any card as long as it's attached to a Pokemon V as your V-Star power for the turn. So particularly good. And here comes the Hisuian Heavy Ball. Oh, I think there's an option there we might be happy with. And it's not Pheasantipity, it's Bidoof.
Yeah, like that, Bibarel's fantastic. That Industrious Incisors ability letting you draw till you have 5 cards in your hand. And obviously with this TM Evolution being used, you'll be able to evolve it straight into a Bibarel, and I think that's what we're going to be seeing here. And yeah, I loved it. That's a fantastic turn 1 for a Charizard. Going to end the turn with a Charmeleon and a Bibarel raring to go. Because let's not forget, initialization from Iron Thorns does not turn off Industrious Incisors.
It does not, and because of the extra things we're seeing in this deck with stuff like Rapska, there's only room for a 1-1 Bibarel line here.
Yes.
So you had to get that Pidoof out of the prizes nice and quickly. It is going to give you more value in the early game than Serendipity is. So yeah, you had to go and get that straight away. So Iron Thorns here, we've got an energy on there. That was kind of job done turn 1.
Yep.
Where can we go from here? We do have a Pokemon catcher. Here's the flip. It's a tail. There's going to be a lot of flips this game, Jay.
Yeah, we've got Crushing Hammer as well. It's going to be really impactful in this matchup. We do see Owyn going to play an Arven of his own here. I wonder what tool card we're going to see. There are a few options. Devolution could be used to just, you know, reset those benched Bibarel and Charmeleon. Could see a Turbo Energize potentially to power up a benched Iron Thorns as well. But it looks like, yeah, we do see it looks like the Turbo Energize being taken. We also get to see an item here, Ross. And what do you reckon Owyn's considering here?
There are so many options here. It looks like we're actually going for the tool that's going to go and get the, not the tool, sorry, the item, the Techno Radar that lets you discard a card from your hand and then search for a couple of future Pokemon. So that Techno, I believe that's Techno Radar. Yeah,
yep,
here we
Techno
go.
Radar, yeah.
Going to discard the Judge and then search for a couple of future Pokemon. And I'm going to ruin the surprise.
Right.
It's going to be 1 or 2 Iron Thorns.
Yeah.
Owyn is, here is the entire Pokemon list of Owyn's deck, right?
Yeah.
Iron Thorns.
Yeah.
Iron Thorns. Iron Thorns. Iron Thorns. That's it. That's all the Pokemon. He will start Iron Thorns. There will never be an option to gust up another Pokemon, turn off the ability, and then get your abilities back. Doesn't happen. It is quad Iron Thorns. That is all you've got, and here comes Turbo Energize.
Yeah, an attack that lets you attach 2 basic energy from your deck to one of your benched Pokemon. And let's not forget, people at home, that while Iron Thorns is in the active, initialization turns off all rule box abilities on your opponent's side of the field. So that means if Fabien was to evolve into a Charizard EX, Infernal Rain would not activate.
Nope, so it would be manual attachments all the way, and that's where the Crushing Hammer come in to try and get rid of them. Here comes an Ultra Ball, and, I mean, looks like we're going for a Skwovet here, which I love Skwovet. It lets you shuffle your entire hand into your deck, you draw 1 card.
Yes.
Which, I mean, it's great in an emergency. Generally, you're minusing a bunch of cards from your hand. It is, frankly, not ideal. But when you combine it with Bibarel, it's just a shuffle, draw 5.
Yeah.
Or maybe if you can play the card from Skwovet, shuffle, draw 6.
Well, it's actually a little bit better than shuffle because it actually puts the cards to the bottom. So that means you're guaranteed not to draw them back. So if you really don't want the cards in your hand, you can put them to the bottom. But it looks like we're always going to see an Industrious Incisors and a pass straight back over to Owyn.
But crucially, did get an energy attachment.
Yes. Oh,
we're watching the energy here.
Are we going to get an energy attachment? That's a 6. And there it goes. That's super impactful there for Owyn. Because, you know, while we can't use Infernal Rain, Burning Darkness only requires 2 basic energy. It's actually not that hard to power up. So we are going to see a future booster energy capsule attached to the active. So that means we could see it retreat because it now has a free retreat cost as well. And let's see what Owyn opts to do. It does have an Iono, a Boss, and a Professor's Research available. It looks like Professor's Research is going to be used. Draw 7 new cards. If we do see a double Turbo Energy here, we could actually see an attack Volt Cyclone. And we see it on the last card there, Ross.
Oh, we start seeing some energy. And I was telling you about watching Turtles the other day, Shay.
Okay.
Right now I'm watching Fire Energy. Because Fabien doesn't play much. There's 5 Fire Energy in the deck.
Yes.
But 1 has just been discarded. 1 is in the prizes. That means there's only 3 available in the deck. You don't play many, and you don't play a huge amount of search here because you search them out with Charizard.
Yes.
Fabien might not find them, and there was a Pokemon catcher there, but unfortunately came up.
Tails.
Yeah, bit sad.
Tails, yeah, bit sad that one for Owyn. Because that Radiant Charizard, you know, that 160 HP won't be going anywhere. As it looks like we are going to see a double, it looks like we are going to see a Volt Cyclone into the active, 120 with damage reduction, and then we'll move it away onto the benched Iron Thorns.
Don't mind that. And to be honest with you, that can, if you can keep drawing your energy, that's kind of a nice bonus because it means you're powering up your, you know, you can attach to the active to attack and then be powering up your bench. It's a bit of a downside, but not that much of a downside. Right, energy check. There is an energy in hand for Fabien here. So that's good, but there's only going to be 2 more in the, remember, you need 2 to attach to Charizard EX in order to attack. Double Turbo, there is 1 in the deck. That doesn't help with Charizard. It only helps with Radiant Charizard.
Let's see what happens here. And it's like 140 damage after the future boost energy capture. I apologize. We're going to see Industrious Incisors and a Cleffa. Oh, Ross, cancelling Cologne.
That's going to be huge. It's going to get the first 2 prizes, but it only gets 2 prizes. That's the problem. It's, can you get, well, okay, it gives you 1 turn is what I'm saying here. So can you get the evolutions? And you'll notice Fabien has deliberately not evolved the Charmeleon. Risky. Imagine if there was a heads on Pokemon Catcher last turn.
Yep.
That would have been absolutely gigantic, but it wasn't. And I think actually, I tell you what, Fabien has caught a break here.
Yeah.
Between the tails on Pokemon Catcher and then drawing cancelling Cologne, this might be the turn where Fabien gets properly into this game.
Yeah, because that cancelling Cologne will turn off the active Iron Thorn's ability initialization. So that means if Fabien was to evolve into a Charizard EX, Infernal Rain would activate. That means he could use 3 energy, well, attachment energy from the deck, because it looks like, oh, just debating whether to attach that double turbo energy or not. But that'd be really good. Just flood the board with energy and then start swinging.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, the ideal situation here is kind of like a double evolution into Charizard to get all of your fire energy out and go. But remember, there's only 3 in the deck. Actually, only 2 in the deck now. 1 in the discard, 1 in the prizes. Wait, 2 on the board? There's only 1 left in the deck.
You'll have a Super Rod in hand, though. So.
Okay, so you've Super Rod it back in, then that's 2 in the deck, and then you can accelerate 2 with Charizard. So that, it's not a great use of Super.
Ooh,
oh, I like this.
Is using the Nest Dash.
Oh, no, but cancelling Cologne.
Yeah, just opted to just Nest Dash, put the hand to the bottom, and then a pass straight back over. Owyn plays the Legacy Energy as the A-Spec. You know, reducing the prize card if that was going to get KO'd, the Iron Thorn. Because he boss orders onto the barrel.
Onto the big barrel, that's big here. Trying to take away that draw engine.
Wow, that's huge. After the Nest Dash as well, Ross. So that means Fabian's going to be stuck on a 1-card hand. Bolt Cyclone for KO. Owyn Kamerman takes his first prize card, and Bibarel hits the discard pile.
And that's huge. Generally speaking, you look at that and you're going, hang on a second, why did Owyn not go after the only Charmeleon on the board? The answer is because Fabian's got a 1-card hand.
Yep.
This is where you punish. Didn't use Bibarel after, wasn't able to. So you bring up the Bibarel, KO it, and basically say, look, now you don't have much of a hand. I believe we're seeing another Nest Dash here.
Yeah, another Nest Dash. Now does have the Grasping Draw Cleffa, so we'll be able to draw till he has 7 cards in hand. But that is an attack, so that means that's going to be another easy prize there as Fabien does end the turn there with a Grasping Draw. Over to Owyn, and let's see, that's a nice big hand there. Love that, plenty of options.
No energy though.
No energy, you are correct, but it is Owyn's turn now, so let's see what he's able to manufacture.
Now we're looking at the energy here. Right now there's only 1 available in the deck.
Could see a boss's orders into Charmeleon potentially, that would be huge.
I mean, maybe it's just me. I would enjoy it. Oh, it's gone to the front of the hand, Shay.
Oh,
he's thinking about it.
This could be a mean play. Imagine, oh my goodness
He's definitely thinking. Who wants to KO Cleffa when you can KO the only Charmeleon?
Oh no, show us that Lissandre's boss.
Here
we go. Lissandre into the Charmeleon, removing all Charmand and Charmeleon from Fabian's side of the board. Bolt Cyclone, KO. Owyn Kamerman takes his 2nd prize card. Fabien, what can we do?
And here's the thing. Remember, Radiant Charizard doesn't have the ability.
It does not.
So it needs actual 5 energy. There's 3 energy on there right now. 1 in the prizes, 1 in the discard. There's only... No, two in the discard now. I think there's only 1 energy in deck right now. Here comes a Super Rod. Okay, I was going to say, you have to Super Rod here, because there literally isn't enough energy in the deck to get Radiant Charizard rolling right now.
So we do need that. Radiant Charizard does have a lot of energy attached to it currently. Bear in mind, it does have a double turbo, so that would reduce the damage down from 250 down to 230, which is actually still enough to KO Iron Thorns, actually. So
that's fine.
That's fine.
The issue here is getting enough energy. You need 4 energy attachments, and there's only 6 energy total in the deck, and 1 is currently prized.
Yes.
So that Super Rod had to come down there. But even now, you are 2 turns of attachment away. And, I mean, do you think Owyn might be looking for Crushing Hammers at this point?
I imagine so. That would be real devastating.
But even then, you attack and it gets KO'd straight back, and that's all your energy gone.
Like, yes, that's true, because it's taken damage already.
And this is the matchup. The matchup here is basically Owyn going, hey, Fabien, What are you going to attack with?
Yeah, pretty much. What are you going to attack with? Well, I just announced Volt Cyclone, turn off, turn off. So we do see another Nest Dash being used there. Obviously, that will be used in combination with Grasping Draw, I would imagine. So Fabien will be able to draw up to 7. Fabien consulting the discard pile there for Owyn, saying, how much resources do you have left? As we do see the Grasping Draw to you have 7 cards in your hand. So, Temple of Sinnoh could be impactful, Ross. Unfair Stamp as well.
Not too bad. Unfair Stamp, I think probably definitely one of the best A-specs out there. It's your opponent takes a KO, and then next turn you put them down to a 2-card hand while getting 5 for yourself. So we do see an energy coming down here. We got the active, but of course, remember, Temple of Sinnoh will turn off legacy energy,
yes,
which will mean you don't get a prize reduction when you take the KO. So the timing for Temple of Sinnoh probably going to be quite big here. And we do see, going to shuffling up here, it's a judge. Both players getting a new hand of 4 cards.
That's strong, because, Fabien did end the turn there with a Grasping Draw. So you can say, right, that nice big hand of 7 that you want, you're not having it anymore. You're going to have a hand of 4. And let's see what Owyn draws here, because might be able to remove the Clefairy play to remove any option of Grasping Draw afterwards. We do see a Crushing Hammer, Ross. We did mention how important that could be. Let's see what else is in the hand. Was there a catcher as well? No. Earthen Vessel, Judge, Professor's Research, and then that Crushing Hammer as well. Here we go. Crushing Hammer. People calling it heads.
It is a head.
Energy, and there goes that basic fire of that Bench Radiant Charizard.
And here's the thing. Fabien is now minimum 2 turns away from getting an attack off. You need to manually attach to the Charmander and then manually attach a second time. This is assuming no cancelling Cologne, of course. Now,
do you see a basic energy attached to the active? This Unfair Stamp could be huge. There it is. Oh my goodness. So we see the cancelling Cologne being played with Unfair Stamp as well. That means Owyn's going to have a 2-card hand. Fabien gets a new hand of 6. And with that cancelling Cologne being played, Infernal Rain is live.
And that means, okay, so I think we need 1 energy attached. No, Charizard's got 3 energy on, so Charizard can attack.
Yes.
Charizard will be getting a KO.
Oh, and a Temple of Sinnoh!
Because that means you get 2 prizes rather than 1. You get the legacy energy turned off, essentially. So that's kind of awesome. Great time to pull that. But you didn't get the Charizard to use the Charizard ability.
But there is an Ultra Ball in the hand, though.
They have a rare candy.
Oh, no, there wasn't a rare candy. You're right.
So there's no Charizard. And here's the thing. You're going to get the KO this turn. But then Iron Thorns KOs you right back, and you've not got any energy on the board again.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the whole game here, is Owyn just going, you don't have energy, what are you going to do about it? So, I mean, look, there's a lot going right for Fabien this turn. Hitting the Temple of Sinnoh, great. Getting the cancelling Cologne so you can actually get a KO, great. But you're not getting any other energy down on the board, and that's what you really need here.
Yeah, you're right. The Unfair Stamp, you could argue, was a bit unfair there for Fabien. Had the cancelling Cologne at the start of the turn, it could have been really explosive, but you're right, just not quite enough to potentially get over the line. We'll be taking 2 prize cards here, though, if he chooses to attack. And Temple of Sinnoh, like you said, would remove that legacy energy as well, turning it into an effective, just a colorless energy for what it's worth. So, yeah, tough there for Fabien. Let's see what he chooses to do.
Yeah, well, ideally, I mean, look, Fabien was asking for a lot here. The ideal term, and it was asking a lot, the ideal term was to get your Charizard and your cancelling Cologne, which we've got, your Radiant Charizard, and then your reset stamp for essentially Temple of Sinnoh, Rare Candy Charizard. Now, had you hit all of that, and again, you're asking a lot, but if you can hit all of that, that is about the best possible turn.
That would have been amazing, but hasn't quite been able to manufacture that. Looks like the players are just having a little discussion about something here. When we get confirmation, we'll get that over to you. But yeah, Iron Thorns into... I was actually really surprised with how popular Iron Thorns is here today, Ross. Because what was it, like the 5th most played deck, I think?
6th most played deck. 6th most played deck. 63 of them in total. That is a lot of Iron Thorns. Yeah, I took a little bit of a screenshot of see me looking down. I'm like, oh, let's have a look down at this data, shall we? Yeah, there's 63 of them in total. The most played deck, Regidrago, at 277. And that's kind of what we expected, right? Yep. And let's face it, round 1, what won on stream today?
Regidrago.
Well, round 2, what won on stream today?
Regidrago.
So, I mean, we're just bucking the trend here. We're not having a Regidrago winning on stream in round 3. But it is, if people say, oh, why is that on stream 2 rounds in a row? because there's 277 of them. They are absolutely everywhere. So we have got a judge review going on here. As always, we're not going to be speculating. When we have information to share, we're going to share it with you.
Yes.
People are nice back here. When there's something to know, they'll tell us. We'll tell you. We'll get on with the game. Job's a good one.
Yeah, so we'll get involved with that when we do have confirmation as of what happened and what will be the resolution of that. But I tell you what, like that game was really unfolding, really interesting. The Iron Thorns was really just doing its job, right? Just saying, you know, initialization, I'm just going to stop you there for a second, please. And it's interesting, right? Because we mentioned, you know, canceling clone does exist in a lot of decks right now. But it's almost like, even though you have the answer, you still need to find it, and you still need to be able to capitalize on using it as well. Because as we did see there, you know, Fabien did play the canceling clone and then played the unfair stamp. But if you don't have the rare candy Charizard combination, it's not as impactful as you really wanted it to be.
Yeah, you're going to get one use of your Radiant Charizard because then the abilities turn back on, the attack cost is reduced. So you get the reduction, you get the KO, but then you get KO'd straight back. Cancelling Cologne is great, but it is a one-shot thing. It is not this magic win-all button. It is a, for one turn, your job gets a little bit easier, but it is very much a part. And here's what I'm seeing about Charizard here. I don't want to sound mean when I say this.
Okay.
Charizard got greedy. Charizard lists have gotten very, very greedy lately.
Yeah.
5 basic fire, 1 double turbo. And the reason Charizard lists have gotten greedy is because you've got the ability of Charizard EX that searches out free energy. So you don't even need to play much energy search, Charizard's got your back.
Yes.
You got Radiant Charizard that reduces its own attack cost based on how many prizes your opponent has taken.
Yep.
And because they are your main attackers, you can get greedy.
Yeah.
But because you get greedy, decks like Iron Thorns are like, oh, hi, how you doing? Yeah, I'm totally taking advantage of that. And between turning off Radiant Charizard's ability, between turning off Charizard EX ability, and then bringing out Crushing Hammers as well, so far, Fabian's not got an attack off this game.
That is a fantastic point, actually. Yeah, you're right. And I just love the Iron Thorns, like, hello, just with his little hammer, just realised that energy you got there. Dink, see that later.
I've got a brilliant virtual image of just Iron Thorns just running around with a Crushing Hammer. It's getting rid of all of that energy. And look, I've been pretty vocal since I got to Hawaii.
Okay.
I don't like Iron Thorns as a deck. I think there's too many bad matchups.
Right.
But I am willing to be proven wrong, Shay.
Yeah, I'm the same. I wasn't terribly convinced coming into the event, but it's hard to argue when you see Iron Thorns just grind, a top 3 deck in format down to a halt that Charizard, at least on seeing it on stream here. So that's the thing. Even though Iron Thorns isn't the most convincing, it is on paper still really strong, right? Being able to turn off all rule box abilities is just very, very strong. And the attack is what I'm not most sold on. 140 is just not a great number, but if your opponent's literally, like we mentioned, just not even attacking back, 140 is fine.
But this is like your standard blocking Pokemon. We see a Cornerstone EX Ogerpon doesn't have a very good attack. Mimikyu from Paldea Evolve doesn't have a very good attack. These Pokemon that block, as long as they've got an attack which is, fine, that's good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like, if your opponent's not doing anything, all of a sudden, you know, putting 7 damage counters on the active and guard to Mimikyu is fine, like you said. Or even, one thing I really like about this sort of Iron Thorns and Mimikyu is that, you know, Gardevoir plays a lot of tool cards, TM cards. You can sort of get around Mimikyu not having a good attack. When you're using TM Evo or TM Devo, all of a sudden it's now can't be hit by anything in the active and doing really cool things. Like we saw Turbo Energize being used here as well. Sometimes these Iron Thorn decks do play, you know, de-evolution to de-evolve everything. So all of a sudden having that not so great or mediocre attack can be mitigated.
Absolutely. That's the whole deal with Iron Thorns. Great ability, just good enough attack, and you add it up. And, you know, as we look down the metagame here, there's 277 Regidrago. Now, I don't think that's an auto win by any stretch. That one seems like it could go either way.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
But the way you get past that, right? 147 Charizard. We're seeing this matchup right here, and it seems like Iron Thorns has an option. And then number 3, 145 Archeops Lugia. Well, this one's really simple.
Yep.
If they don't use their V-Star power, they will not win the game.
No.
Now, that's where one cancelling clone V-Star power Archeops, yay!
Yeah.
That really comes in handy.
Or Fluttermane gets played in some Lugia decks as well for that reason, right?
does indeed, and then Fluttermane turns off Iron Fawns, and then you can... But, you know, if you can stop Lugia, and you're hitting weakness as well, of course, against Lugia,
for sure,
then you can win kind of that. So it looks like we've got a little bit of a replay coming in here.
Oh, and I think it looks like Owyn drew 4 cards off an unfair stamp instead of the normal 2.
There we go.
So it looks like that's what's happening, and I think we do have judges there currently on the stage reviewing that. So when we do have confirmation of, you know, what the conclusion is of that, we will relay that to you. But just to confirm, it looks like Owyn Kamerman drew 4 cards off an unfair stamp instead of 2.
That was my assumption. When an unfair stamp is played, and then immediately the game stops, someone drew too many cards, most of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
But I ain't going to be telling you that on stream until I've had a look at the replay and seen it. We're not dealing in speculation here. That doesn't help anyone. No. But we saw the replay. We saw Owyn draw the 4 cards. That is unfortunately pretty conclusive. And remember, it was like a minute before that Owyn played a judge and drew 4.
Yeah.
And we've all been there. You're thinking, oh, shuffle, draw 4. Oh, no, wait, that was last turn. We've all been there. So Iron Fawns, I do think there is a possibility of it being a very good deck.
Yeah.
I do think it's very matchup dependent.
Yeah.
If you come against a good deck that isn't playing many abilities on Rulebox Pokemon, that's when things can come unstuck very, very quickly. You know, Raging Bolt, you can't use your Teal Mask Ogapon to attach energy and draw cards. You can still attach, you can still play Professor Sada.
Yeah.
You can still get potentially +3 energy a turn. And then if you can do that a couple of times, you've got enough energy to KO a couple of Iron Fawns, and if you run them out of energy, you win.
Yeah.
So that doesn't seem like the best matchup ever. So it really is, it's not ideal, I think is fair to say, against everything. But look, if there was a deck that just beat everything, everyone would play that deck.
Exactly. Everyone would be playing it, and then all of a sudden we wouldn't be seeing Regidrago with such high percentage of the meta because it'd be that obvious and everyone would play that deck as well. And that's one thing I really like about just meta games in general. There's never normally like a perfect deck for everything, so you are going to be taking percentage points here and percentage points off there, and then see, you know, what matchups you hit. Could Iron Fawns be that sort of wonder deck? I mean, it's got, like we've been explaining, it has its options, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. I did not have it being as popular as it is this weekend, that's for sure.
No, absolutely not. Now, it does look like, we've got a little top-down view here, and it looks like Owyn has now got a hand of 2 cards, and things have been shuffled and put on top. So it looks like we're going to be getting back very, very quickly. We will get a confirmation of, that we have now had confirmation that it was drawing too many cards off an unfair stamp, as we assumed. The question now is about penalty, and when a penalty has been assessed, and when we got confirmation of exactly what's happened, we will, of course, let you know. For the time being, we wait and see.
It looks like play has been restarted. I see a boss's orders. We do see that Temple of Sinnoh coming down. It looks like we are going to see a combustion blast as well. Is that Abe? Has he got enough energy to do that? I can't remember how many prize cards we've taken at this
Owyn
point.
has taken 3 prize cards, I believe, and that means that the Charizard can be used to. And yes, there we see. Look at the top right-hand corner of the screen, ladies and gentlemen. We can see that we've got the cards being blocked out there. That means that Fabien only needs to take 2 more prizes in order to win the game, but is about to be run out of energy.
Yes, so that is how that works. Legacy energy is still attached as well. We'll be able to use this Volt Cyclone, but you're right. It looks pretty good there for Fabien, but remember that Canceling Clone did get played at the start of this turn, so that's no longer an option. So yeah, all this energy will be removed after this Volt Cyclone, and let's see what Fabien can do. Just got to decide which energy to move off yourself, because that is a necessary stipulation of Volt Cyclone. Is going to move that Legacy energy to the bench, and there goes Radiant Charizard sent to the discard pile. Owyn Kamerman takes his 3rd prize card, and let's see what Fabien can do.
Yeah, moving Legacy energy is a pretty good call. It doesn't do anything while Temple of Sinnoh's in play, so you might as well move it off, try and wait for a time when Temple of Sinnoh is not in play. And there are 3 Lost City in the deck, so there are counter stadiums. We see an energy onto Charmander, and we see an Ino, which is going to put Owyn down to 2 cards. Now here's where the prize card, this is where the penalty is interesting. Fabien gets 4 cards. You no longer take the prize card penalty. It is just 2 fewer prize cards to take, and that is very relevant for cards like Ino.
It really is. I tell you what, the Owyn could be super impactful as well. Resetting Owyn's hand down to 2. Here comes the 3rd. Nothing else being played there for Pujol. Oh, we do see a Pokemon catcher, Ross. We could see a Pokemon catcher onto the Charmander to remove an energy. Flip a coin if heads, what your opponent's active. And it's heads, it's a 2. Charmander gets sent into the active and will most likely get KO'd. Oh, does he need another energy, actually, because Temple of Sinnoh does turn off that double turbo.
Yeah, we'll need an energy, but that's why we're using Owyn to go for an Earthen Vessel. That is not an issue, and it's not just the Charmander going down, it is the energy going down. I told you, Shay, I'm not watching Turtles, I am watching energy in this game, and that means Fabien is now, there was an option, Rare Candy, Charizard, energy, boom, I can attack, not an option now.
Going to say Owyn there taking a Future Booster Energy Capsule and an Energy Lotto. But let's not forget the Future Booster Energy Capsule, if attached to the active, will give it a free retreat cost. Energy Lotto, look at top 7, grabbing energy. Will we see one? Whoa. Oh, can't quite see. No, that was energy. A miss. That was a miss. So going to shuffle those back up, but does have that Future Booster Energy Capsule to attach to the active. That will give it a free retreat cost. We just retreat into the benched Iron Thorns and be able to attack with that.
And that one does have enough. It's, you know, the Legacy Energy is just one colorless energy. The Double Turbo is just one colorless energy.
Yes.
But that's enough with the Lightning to use the Attack Volt Cyclone there. So there we go. We get the KO, and Fabien at this stage has got to be thinking that this game is maybe a bit too far out of hand. We see the concession, and Owyn Kamerman will take game 1.
And does it in convincing fashion there as well, you know, outside of the unfair stamp. I would say Owyn was in the driver's seat the whole of that game. I think Fabien announced 1 attack, right, that whole game?
1 attack, 1 KO, that was it. I'm going to pose you a question here, Shay.
Okay.
What if more flips were tails? Because we had 2, was it 2 or 3? No, we had 1 Pokemon catcher head, maybe 2?
I think it was 2.
And we had at least 2 heads on Crushing Hammer.
Yep.
So I'm saying there is an alternate version of that game where Owyn doesn't flip as much. And Owyn didn't flip all heads, but he flipped, I think, decently. And I'm not saying that's why he won. He won because his deck did what it was supposed to do. But I'm saying that that could be something that goes different in game 2. Here's a replay. And we start off here with the KO on that Bibarel, taking away, you know, taking advantage of the fact that Fabien was on a 1-card hand.
I think that was the start of just the absolute cascading plays there from Owyn. If you do see the boss's order, this is a big play as well to get rid of that Charmeleon Volt Cyclone away, the energy. And I feel as if Fabien was just on the back foot. After that first kill on the barrel, was just being forced to have to use Clef. But here was the unfair Stamplers cancelling clone that really stuck, well, didn't quite stick, I should say, there for Owyn, as he was able to start after that Pokemon catch heads and get rid of the Charmander, and that was pretty much all she wrote, Ross.
Unfortunately so, and that was the problem. I've said it all game. It was all about the energy. You've got to watch the Charizard energy here, and through a combination of Crushing Hammer and then Pokemon Catcher and Boss's orders onto Pokemon that had energy to bring them active and KO them, that meant that Owyn really was able to just hunt down the energy. Yes, Fabien had the 1 cancelling Cologne turn, but then the energy went down and there was just no more energy. But it looks like we're off in game 2, and
looks like we see a Hisuian Heavy Ball being played to grab a Bidoof out of the prize cards. Owyn has led, funnily enough, we would have thought it, an Iron Thorns EX, and Fabien, obviously going first, has a Charmander in the active, and after a Hisuian Heavy Ball being played, has a Bidoof on the bench, and that's Grove it over to Owyn, who's going to kick off his first turn. What do we have here? I see Judges, I see Arven, I see Techno Radar as well. And you know what that means, Ross? That means we have a ton of options as we look at Fabien's prizes there quickly on the right. Boss's ordered Super, Buddy Buddy Popping, Counter Catcher.
See, I'm not worried about that. I am worried a bit more about Owyn's prizes.
Ooh.
Owyn has got 2 Boss's orders prize. Now, he does play the full 4. But we saw how impactful it was. If you've only got 2 available, it means you're going to find them less easily, and that could be an issue. The Techno Radar, here we go. Here we see those 2 Boss's orders. They are both at the bottom. We expect to pull them quite quickly, but there's also the 1 copy of Turbo Energized prize. And of course, Shay, we saw in game 1, big deal.
That was a big option. And I think that might be what Owyn's looking for here, because that's really, that's a great turn 1 play. And you know, we do know that Fabien does play Temple of Sinnoh, so you've got 2 ways of sort of accelerating energy in this deck, right? You've got the Turbo Energize and you've got double Turbo Energy. But now with Turbo Energize not being an option, if Fabien was to stick the Temple of Sinnoh again, all of a sudden, Volt Cyclone is an extremely expensive attack to use. If we do see Crushing Hammer, that is a Tails. That energy on the Charmander will be staying, as we do see Arven being played here for Owyn.
Yeah, also worth noting, Owyn plays 3 counter stadiums to that Temple of Sinnoh.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
And one of them is prized as well. So actually really awkward prizes for Owyn in this game. But we need an energy attachment. Luckily, we do have an Earthen Vessel off of the Arven, because you cannot miss the energy attachment here.
And I think, yeah, we definitely cannot afford to miss a basic energy attachment here, especially if Turbo Energize isn't an option. But it's going to be a very different game to Game 1. Game 1, we saw Iron Thorn swinging super early and being super disruptive. So far, we have a Tails flip on Crushing Hammer, and we will not be seeing a Turbo Energize. So that means it's going to be a lot harder for Owyn to start attacking. And let's see if Owyn is able to apply that pressure. Because I think as good as initialization is for Owyn, you do need to be applying pressure. We saw the Bibarel get KO'd last game early on. We need to be taking prizes, as we do see a basic energy attached to the bench Iron Thorns, and maybe the future boost energy capsule, maybe not.
Just another benched Iron Thorns. And there's a big point here why you attach to the bench.
Yeah.
There is a possibility here that Fabien goes Rare Candy, Charizard, attached from hand, and attacks. And we do see an evolution into Charizard. And that means that we could potentially, and an Ino as well. Oh, does he have an energy?
No energy in that hand so far, but does have an Ultra Ball and Bibarel.
Okay.
And Nest Dash as well, so you can, you know, put all cards to the bottom and draw 5. Oh, well, it will be before, I should say. Nest Dash, hand to the bottom. Draw 1.
Good.
Was that Canceling Clone or was that Super? I didn't quite see. But here's 4 off Industrious Incisors. Are we going to see a basic energy? We're not. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, we see the face there from Fabien. He is not impressed, and I don't blame him.
And that was just a pass after that, Ross, over to Owyn. This also doesn't have a double turbo energy here, though.
No, that is not ideal. The double turbo does play a full 4 copy, so it is one you can have a reasonable expectation of seeing moderately quickly. But it's not ideal from either player here. Nobody actually able to throw off attacks. We got the Future Booster Energy Capsule for free retreat.
Yeah.
And like I say, we put the energy on the bench just in case an attack came out. So you're attacking with a fresh one. Here's
Pokemon Catcher.
Tails. So we got 2 right. I'm going to be counting heads and tails in this game,
Okay,
Shay. I'm giving a little bit of a lip.
You do that. If you are going to see
Tails.
Professor's research there being played for Owyn, 7 new cards. Did have to discard a Bice's order, so only 1 copy available outside of the prizes here for Owyn. We do see a double turbo energy though, so we will be seeing a Volt Cyclone at the very least.
Yeah, and this is nice. Remember, Charizard. Oh, but it's not even a 2-hit KO. You're only doing 120. It's a 3-hit KO here.
Unless we have a Future Boost energy capture in hand, which we do not.
Even if we did.
Oh, that wouldn't have mattered, actually. Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Would only do 140, doubled is 280. Even if you had the non-reduction of a double turbo and a Future Booster Energy Capsule, it would still be a 3-hit KO. It's not ideal here. This is what you were saying about the numbers earlier.
Right, here. We saw the Nest Dash basic energy. Well done, Scrovet. And then we're going to see a full 5 Industrious Incisors. Bibarel has a Temple of Sinnoh, as well as the Charmander. Fantastic turn there for Fabien. We'll be able to announce Burning Darkness for the first time here in our feature match here, round 3 at the World Championships.
This is such a different game to game 1. We've got a Charizard with 2 energy on early. We've seen Owyn flipping 2 tails out of 2. We've seen just Fabien actually get rolling here, and that is so different. And here's the problem that Owyn's in now. He's 3-hit KOing. He's on 1. He's not getting a KO this turn. Oh, Penny helps, though. But the problem I've got here is, even if you flip heads on Crushing Hammer, Fabien can still just attach and attack next turn.
Yeah, I mean, unless we saw 2 Crushing Hammer heads, that would be the ideal scenario, but we don't see 1 in hand. After the Penny, can't use Arven to go find another one. So it looks like I was going to see a Volt Cyclone again for 120 damage off that double turbo, 280 damage over on that Charizard, over to Fabien. Let's see what happens. You see a Charmeleon evolution there. We see another basic energy in hand, but that's going to go to the bottom of the deck via Nest Dash. Ross going to draw 1. Let's see what it's going to be. Another basic energy. Well done, Scrovet, finding all the energy so far. Looking to attach it to the Charmeleon, Industrious Incisors. Ross going to draw 5 new cards as well.
Now that's good and bad. I love getting the attachment on the Charmeleon, but there is a world here in which Owyn flips heads on Crushing Hammer, gets the energy off the Charmeleon, while KOing the Charizard, and Fabien goes into next turn with all 3 of those energy in the discard. That's why we saw the hesitation to attach that energy.
And let's have a look over at Owyn's hand there. Not the greatest. Even a support. I think there's an Owyn at the very least. There's a Pokegear that could go and find one. Then you look at the top 7 and grab any support you find there, or one, and put it in your hand.
Now
As we are going to see the Pokegear being played.
Now, there's not going to be a penny hit. Oh, it actually draws the one boss's orders that's still left in the deck.
Yeah.
That's an option. But, okay, so here's where we are with Owyn. You can just attach to the active and attack.
Yes.
But then if Fabien evolves into a Charizard and manually attaches, we'll get the return KO. Owyn really wants to attach with a fresh Iron Thorns here, but doesn't have the energy to do so. Double turbo. Oh, no, he does. He's got 2 double turbo in hand. So clearly, oh, I like the Lost City there.
We're going to boss his orders. Oh, we're going to boss his orders with Barrel. Remember, Lost City, any Pokemon that's KO'd while it's in play will get sent to the Lost Zone instead of the discard pile. And it looks like we are going to see a Volt Cyclone going to be used here, just depending on what energy to put to the benched Pokemon. So we are going to see that Lightning going to carry that with Barrel sent to the Lost Zone as Owyn takes his first prize card here. Let's see what Fabien has. I think does have Arven in hand and an Ultra Ball. So we could see Canceling Cologne plus Charizard EX combo here. Defiance Band getting moved to the front. Or Unfair Stamp even as well.
Sorry. Yeah, that's quite a big one. I know in there basically saying, look, I'm going to take out your Bibarel. I'm going to give up this Iron Thorns right now. I don't think giving up this one is going to be a huge issue, especially when you're not already KOing the Charizard.
Yep.
But Fabien here needs an energy. Or, I mean, ideally a Charizard.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't get that, then Owyn could have a monster turn next turn.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes rolling around at the moment. It's Charizard we're looking at for Fabien. Draws an Ultra Ball, we got it.
An Ultra Ball, yep, well done there. That's fantastic. Free retreat from that Cleffa. Amazing card there. We saw popularized at EUIC. And we're going to see a Buddy Buddy Poffin being played, letting you grab any 2 basic Pokemon, put them on your bench, as long as they have under 70 HP. Pidgey going to come down.
Did we not see the Canting Cologne this turn?
No.
Oh, so we can't get it. Okay, so here's the problem. We're now back to where we were last term.
Yes.
There is a possibility for Owyn here to remove all the energy off the board, and Canting Cologne, I mean, it's not been played.
Nope.
But you would then have to hit Canting Cologne Charizard.
Pokemon Catcher.
It's a
Tails. That's another Tails to be added to your tally there. We are going to see Energy Lotto. Does have, the double turbo energy could be taken here, or the 1 copy of Lightning. Looks like double turbo energy is going to be taken. We actually needed to find the energy this turn for Owyn to attack. That's one piece of the puzzle gone. Now, off that Unfair Stamp to 2, Owyn did draw Professor's Research. He will be able to discard a hand and draw 7 new cards as well. So it's a very good card there off the Unfair Stamps. It is going to be played, Ross. What are we going to see? Crushing Hammer would be ideal. There's a Crushing Hammer. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Owyn Kamerman, are you going to do it? Crushing Hammer. Are we going to see heads?
This game yet?
And
does have one now.
When it matters. Oh my goodness. 3 energy will be removed from Fabien's side of the board this turn. Could this be the turn that Owyn starts to win this game?
It's now Canceling Cologne Charizard or bust. That's essentially Owyn's route back into this game at this stage. And we do, now there is a Charmander down, a Charmeleon down. You need Canceling Cologne, you need Charizard. It needs to be that 2-card combination.
I saw an Arven that could grab the Canceling Cologne. Do we see an Ultra Ball in the hand? I have to check that. There's a Canceling Cologne.
There was an Ultra Ball in hand last turn, but we've got, there's no Pokemon V down to use that yet.
No, but there is an Ultra Ball in hand.
There is, I thought there was.
Okay, so we can see the Canceling Cologne combination.
Okay, so this gets Fabien back into the game. Now, energy check. I've not been watching the energy enough. We've seen 2 removed from the board. There's none in the prizes. That should leave 2 in the deck. Okay, I was going to say Subarod here would be amazing. And yeah, we're not even going to shuffle them back into the deck because here comes Canceling Cologne. Here comes Charizard, attaches free energy. There isn't a good place to put that 3rd energy. But remember, Iron Thorns is free hit KOing Charizard. That is the weakness in this particular matchup for Iron Thorns, the fact that you're not getting even a 2-hit KO here.
Yeah, that's tough, as we are going to see the flip the script been able to be used now as well, because the initialization has been turned off. 3 extra cards there for Fabien. Does he a Temple of Sinnoh as well? That's going to be really hard. That's going to make it hard for Owyn to attack. We're going to be moving double turbo energy. Burning Darkness is going to be doing a ton of damage. Big KO there.
That's 270. That is easily enough to KO. And I think at this stage, Fabien might have this game, honestly.
For sure.
Because you need a way to get rid, either take free prizes quickly, which I'm not seeing, or get rid of that Charizard.
I was going to say, we did see the TM devolution there off that Pokegear, but since that Charizard... Oh, that Charizard did get come and play with a rare candy, did it? Or was it?
It did come in with a rare candy.
Oh, but it's got a tool card attached. It's Iron Thorn.
Already.
Oh, can't do that.
No, you could TM devolution if you didn't have a tool, but you do have a tool. So it's getting very, very rough here for Owyn. We've got 17 minutes left in the game. We do have time for a game 3, which is lovely. But listen, we've got a Temple of Sinnoh coming down here as well. Oh, I mean, it's in play is what I mean, which makes it even more difficult for Owyn to actually get an attack off here. And this is where things are getting very, very dodgy. We're kind of like in a reverse of game 1. It's now Owyn who is struggling for energy.
It's a lot of energy getting discarded, but if we see TM devolution here, we could use it this turn, but misses. Do see a Crushing Hammer, not as impactful now because that Charizard does have 3 basic energy on it, sort of Crushing Hammer proofing itself, as it were. Let's see what Owyn can do. There's so much energy discarded from the Professor's Research. Is that a concession from Owyn? I think it might be.
It is indeed. We are 1-1. We are going to game 3. And yeah, that third energy on Charizard, very deliberate. Basically going, you have to hit double Crushing Hammer or I've guaranteed an attack next turn. That, and I love this. I love best of 3s, where we see one deck winning as the deck tends to do.
Yep.
And we see the other deck winning as the deck tends to do. And then we actually get a situation where we get both decks have done their thing and won one game, and then we go to game 3. That makes me happy.
Yeah, and that's what we like to see, you know, like you said, game 1, Iron Thorns did its thing. Game 2, like we did mention that Canceling Clone is an answer. It's a hard combo to piece together, but if you can do it, it just needs one turn of Infernal Rain, and Iron Thorns can really struggle. We saw that Canceling Clone combination being used there for Fabien, and all of a sudden we're sitting at a 1-1 record here. Do you know what that means for us? That means we're going to see a game 3, and I love me some game 3 actions as we're going to get to the replay here over for Fabien. Did have that Charizard EX swing in nice and early, and Kamerman was on the back foot.
He absolutely was on the back foot. That Charizard early was very, very big. We did see a heads-on Crushing Hammer with a KO on the Charizard to remove all of the energy from Fabien Pujol's side of the board, which was a huge turn, but unfortunately the Canceling Cologne Charizard combination came down, and that meant that Fabien was one-hit KOing Iron Thorns every turn. TM Devolution, the only potential out, did not find it, and that sent us forward into game number 3.
And it's like you mentioned how Charizard EX decks are getting greedy, we said, right? You know, those basic energy numbers are coming down. Even the Pokemon support numbers are coming down, like 1-1 Bibarel, for example. But what that does allow you to do is play these tricky cards like Temple of Sinnoh, Canceling Cologne, you know, Forest, well, not Forest Stillstone. We see a Thornton in this list as well, right?
Yep.
And that's the sort of advantage of getting greedy with your basic energy, is now you start to play these awkward cards to get you out of these strange scenarios. And it looks like we are going to see a mulligan there for Owyn. Worth noting, actually, that will happen a lot for Owyn's deck, because he only plays 4 basic Pokemon.
There is such a thing as a Judge Ball, a very special kind of Pokeball, where you've mulliganed so much that the judge basically has to just reveal cards to the top of your deck until a basic Pokemon is found, which actually then gives away a bunch of information about your deck. It is a risk you play when you play a quad deck like this, and also you give your opponent potentially, I mean, there's already 4 mulligans, so Fabien is starting with 4 extra cards here. Well, when you're trying to hit that turn 2 Rare Candy Charizard Canceling Cologne combination, a lot of extra cards will help. Another mulligan. We're up to 5 now. Yeah, this could keep going.
It really could, and that's why these Iron Thorns decks love to play cards like Judge, just saying, right, chances are you're going to start the game off with a larger hand than normal. So how about I just put that down to 4, so we can then, you know, start off an equal point. We both have 4 cards there. Let's see, Owyn, do you have an Iron Thorns here?
6.
No. 6?
6. So we're up to 6.
So does your Judge Ball, I think that comes into play after 8.
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't want to say in case I'm wrong here. Judge Balls don't come up very often, Jay, frankly. It didn't come up in game 1, didn't come up in game 2, but it can. Oh, there we go. We have one. We do have one. There will be no Judge Ball, but there will be 6 That's an opening hand of 13 cards. Or 12 minus your basic, but you know what I mean. That is a lot of cards. How many options does he have? All of them.
As we do see now, our game 3 started. Owyn Kamerman has led the Iron Thorns. Game 3, energy attachment to the active and a pass over to Fabien. Wow, look at that hand. Use one of our fellow casters, turned Benjamin Rabiot in an accordion hand, as it were. We have so many options, you can't even see them all. You have to hand them out like this. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 12-card opening hand is quite the advantage. We see Boss's Orders, largely a pointless card in this deck a lot of the time.
Yeah.
There'll be times that you hit an Iron Thorns, it retreats, and you want to bring it active to finish it off, but it's not big in this matchup. We see 2 Ultra Ball Prize. We see the 1 Rabska, which is not for this matchup. So, yeah, not terrible prizes there. And I've had a quick look at the other side. There's 1 Devolution and 2 Future Boost Energy Capsules. So, bit worse for Owyn, but nothing terrible yet. You don't need TM Devolution for a couple of turns.
No, that is true. And it does look like it's at the bottom of the prizes. So traditionally, not all the time, traditionally players take their prizes bottom to top. So that would be getting liberated after one of the first 2 cases. We are going to see Luminion getting benched. Can't obviously use that, can't use Luminous Sign, but can still use Forest Seal Stone because the ruling is that the ability is on the tool card, not on the Pokemon it's attached to.
Yep.
So we are going to see, it looks like that Star Alchemy being used to grab the Body Poffin. It's going to grab the Cleffa and the Scrovit.
That was very, very nice. We got a Pidgey down, we got a Scrovit down, we got a Cleffa, we got a Charm, we got Luminion, and we got a Charmander. We're using Nestash here.
Wow, so after that big hand, it's going to go right back down to a 1. Oh, they can use Grasping Draw, of course.
Yeah.
Going to get right back up to 7, fair enough. Right, Owyn, what can we do? Is there a Judge, first of all? We'd love to see that. And we'd love to see a double turbo. There's a Pokemon Catcher as well. Catcher could get rid of the only Charmander Ross if it's used in combination with a Volt Cyclone.
That's the other thing I'm looking for here. Generally speaking, you're not using Scrovit unless you follow it up with your Cleffa or your Beaver to get a bigger hand.
True.
But I'm looking at trying to go after the Charmander here. Go after the attackers, because that's as good as going after the energy. There is 1 in the discard and 1 in the prizes. So Fabian's only got 3 in the deck to draw into right now. That is something to keep an eye on. Do we have a way to get that Charmander into the active combined with a double turbo? That would be the dream for Owyn right now.
That would be the dream. On the back of this Ivan, it looks like Owyn did eye up the Turbo Energize, so might be going for a slower turn. That obviously wasn't an option in game 1. So it looks like you're going to say, right, let me actually take my foot off the gas a little bit, but have easier attacks going throughout the game. I don't mind it, as we are going to see Techno Radar, and you discard 1 card from your hand to grab any 2 future Pokemon. Fantastic in a deck like this, because that searches 50% of the Pokemon in your deck with 1 item.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm having a look at Fabian's hand here.
Right.
And I'm seeing there's a rare candy, but there's no Charizard.
No.
And the only supporters that I think are Iono.
Yep.
So Fabian's going to have to kind of get rid of one of those rare candies and reset what would... So that giant opening hand, it's helped out with basics, but not much else. Wasn't even an energy attachment turn 1.
No, as we are, looks like we're going to see a benched Iron Thorns and energy attachment to the bench. We see that Technical Machine Turbo Energize attached to the active as well. Going to bench that nice full art Iron Thorns. I'm going to let you into the secret here, Ross. I'm a big fan of those full art future cards. That's just a bit of me, that purple, as we are going to see Turbo Energize being used as well.
Love this. Gives you an Iron Thorn sitting there on the bench ready to go, and the 1 in the active is a double turbo energy away from going. So back to Fabien here. We got a little Buddy Poffin. Going to grab a, wow, could be a couple basics. It's just 1. It is Bidoof. And look, we've seen how much Fabien's used Bidoof. We've seen Owyn in both games go after the Bidoof or the Beaverell. Yep. We know how important that is. Palpad is going to put Thornton back.
Yep, very impactful.
Fun fact, only 1 N in Thornton.
Yep.
Commonly mispronounced supporter card.
Yeah, I think it's something I actually pronounced a lot that way myself until I was swiftly told otherwise. But it is going to get shuffled back in. We're going to see the Nestash. Are we going to? Well, we're going to see a Grasping Draw. Are we even going to play that Iono? I'm not sure. There is the Nestash, though, so Iono going to the bottom. Worth noting as well for Owyn, that Luminion is weak to lightning. So that would be a 1-hit KO via the Volt Cyclone, as we are going to see Fabien using that Grasping Draw. Over to Owyn now. Big turn here. Boss is always off the top, Ross.
Love to see it. There is still only 1 Charmander on the board. There's that Luminion. It's a nice little option, But look, you're playing 4 Pokemon Catcher, you're playing 4 Boss's Orders. You don't need to rush. Oh, 3 Pokemon Catcher, sorry, only 3.
It looks like after that Poké Gear, we are going to see that Judge being taken. Interesting. What has Owyn got him? I mean, you'd look all going to play the Judge. Okay.
I don't mind the Judge here. Judge here is quite nice. Because here's the thing, Fabien doesn't have an energy attachment yet.
Yes, it's
It's
true.
not just a lack of evolution, it's a lack of energy. So Fabien's just going, look. Owyn's going, look. I've got the KO on board with either a double turbo or a future boost energy capsule. Either of those gets me a KO. And you've got nothing going here at all. I don't need to go after something like a Charmander, although for supporters, I don't think there's an attack here.
Nope, there's not an attack. We're just going to see a pass is what we're going to see. Would have loved to have seen a future booster energy capsule. Over to Fabien.
There are 2 prizes worth pointing out, so that might be why we're not drawing into them. There's only 3 in the deck.
Yep.
2 are in the prizes.
We do see Arvin being played here. Going to grab an Ultra Ball by looks of it. And a TM Evolution. That's really nice. Going to be able to end your turn with a Bibarel and a Charmeleon at the very least. Ultra Ball going to be played. Oh, and it could be a Charizard EX, right? Because you could evolve into... Oh, no, going to get rid of the E-Evolution anyway. As we get Bibarel. So we can draw some cards there, Ross, via Industrious Insight.
Yeah, I kind of like this. You got the rare candy in hand. You're hoping to hit the Charizard. But once again, it is energy that is the issue for Fabien. We attach manually. Great. But you kind of need to get a second attachment off. Do we get the Charizard? Oh.
Unless, well, we're going to history it only takes basics, so we're unable to...
I don't think there's any basic...
No, there was not.
Charizard and the Rabska.
So those prizes are going to get put back. We're going to see a Nest Dash, the old Nest Dash Grasping Draw combination. If you look at Professor's research there, looked like off that Nest Dash and then Grasping Draw, going to draw 6.
Yeah, Fabien's gotten a lot of use out of that Cleffa, but once again, Crushing Hammer gets rid of all the energy. Pokemon Catcher gets rid of all the energy. Boss's Orders gets rid of all the energy. But no, Owyn just going for a Judge here, saying, look, you keep using Cleffa, I keep using Judge, and frankly, you've got very little going right now outside of your Bibarel. I'm just going to keep judging.
And to be fair, this could be a turn where Owyn can start attacking. Do we see double top energy? We see it up
turbo.
the top. Oh, imagine we saw a Pokemon Catcher there as well. Not quite.
No, no gusting, just a double turbo. And that's the problem here is it is opening the door for Fabien to go.
Didn't attack.
No, chose not to attack there. Doesn't want to get rid of the Cleffa here.
Oh, I guess if you was to attack, that gives Fabien an opportunity to put down a second Charmander. So maybe Owyn just wants to remove the only Charmander before... Well, so there's no chance of him benching and rare candying in another one, perhaps?
I think also playing around Defiance Band here, because if you take one prize, Charizard hits for 210, is then behind on prizes, and Defiance Band will then hit 240 and get the KO.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe that might be also a play around Defiance Band at this stage of the game.
We do see Industrious Incisors being used there for Fabien, and it looks like we're going to see, that's a lot of cards there. Industrious Incisors into Nest Dash, into Grasping Draw. And there we are going to see the Grasping Draw being used. 6 new cards there. Over to Owyn now. Let's see what he can do. And it's like, yep. We do see a Charizard rare candy. Was there a Charizard in that hand?
There was not a Charizard. There were 2 rare candy, but there was, and we
Pokemon Catcher, Ross. And it's the head. There goes the Charmander.
And this is brilliant. I love not taking the KO on the... Now, it didn't actually matter in the end, but being able to get the KO on the
Charmander does have to go to the Lost Zone because of Lost City, though. There it goes. But yeah, as you carry on, Ross,
I was going to say, the combination of not allowing Fabien to bench another Pokemon and not allowing the potential KO with Defiance Band, 2 good reasons not to go after the Cleffa last turn. Sometimes it's a little jarring when you see players giving up an easy KO, but when it's players like Owyn, there's always good reasons. There were 2 very good reasons not to go the Cleffa, and hitting heads there, that was a huge KO. And here's the thing, Fabien is bench locked.
Yep.
Fabien can only bench 1 Charmander per turn, and Owyn plays 4 Boss's Orders, one of which was picked up off... Oh no, they're not prizes to the game. That was last game. Plays 4 Boss's Orders, 3 Pokemon Catcher. There's a lot of gusting in this deck.
As we do see the unfair stamp being used there for Fabien, just going to try and get control of this game. We do see a basic energy. We do see a cancelling clone can also be used at some point of the game there. We also that basic energy attached to that Charmander. We're now going to see a Nest Dash, I would imagine, plus Industrious Incisors combination. And what was that? We see an Arvin off the top there. And we're going to see Industrious and Size, I would imagine, to draw 4 as well.
There is a world here in which Owyn just gusts up the lone Charmander every turn for the rest of the game and just wins. Exactly. There's only 3 minutes left. We've got to be quick. There's no gusting. It's going to have to be
Professor's Research, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be Professor's Research. But again, it's so awkward. You've got so little time left. But if you KO Cleffa, then you open up a second Charmander, but it could evolve anyway. So I think at this stage, you do rush for prizes. There's less than 3 minutes remaining. And even though Fabien can now bench a second Charmander, could have evolved. So it doesn't really matter anywhere near as much.
Worth noting that Pidgeot EX is weak to Lightning as well.
Yeah, it is.
So Owyn can KO Lumineon and Pidgeot in one attack, right?
Pidgeot, yes. Pidgeot, you have to use the one that doesn't have double turbo. But Lumineon you can.
Yeah.
Or you can use Future Booster with double turbo. So yeah, there is a way that Owyn still wins this. He needs 4 prizes. There are 2.
Ooh, goodness. We saw the cancelling clone, so that means the quick search could be used. Now we have a Charizard EX Boss with 4 basic energy attached. And all of a sudden, Fabien is straight back in this game.
And it will get a KO. 2 prizes, all it takes. Charizard now hits 240. So, yeah, now I think at this stage, Owyn kind of has to ignore Charizard. You're not going to win this game by going after Charizard.
Iron 4 needs to go in Lost Zone. Yep, you are correct. So, yeah, this Charizard is asking a lot of questions right now.
How are we doing energy-wise on... I think we've got enough energy on the board here. Yeah, so, gusting. You just need gusting both turns.
Yes.
If you can gust both turns, Owyn will win this game. We have a Pokemon Catcher. It needs to be heads.
Oh, my goodness me. You are correct. 2 gusts would win the game here for Owyn. Oh, my goodness gracious me. Are we going to see it? Does have Poke Gear in hand as well. Does have Earthen Vessel to thin from the... hand. We are going to see a Technical Machine Devolution, so that could be used as well.
It could.
It wouldn't be taking prize cards, but it would stop Fabien from attacking at the very least.
Problem is, if you do that and Fabien hits Rare Candy Charizard, they're then ahead in KOs and they will probably win the game. So if it's the only option you've got, I don't mind it, but Pokemon Catcher, way better option here.
Here we go.
Heads is huge. It's
and
a head.
Oh my goodness, deciding on what to grab here. Could go after either option, can actually KO both of these.
Go after the Pidgeot. I want to go after the Pidgeot here. I don't think he's going to agree with me. My thing here is, it is easier to KO the Lumineon than the Pidgeot.
Yeah.
If I KO the Lumineon and my opponent gets rid of the no double turbo energy Iron Fawns, that makes my last KO on the Pidgeot more awkward.
You are right. It looks like we're going to see an Energy Lotto being used. Going to take that Lightning Energy. That's nice at the very least, so now you can attach that as well.
We need a boss's orders next turn from Owyn. Are there even any...
There's a Poke Gear in hand, so we could use that to try and find a boss's orders.
Okay. Are there any
Oh, there's a boss's orders in hand, sorry. There's a Giovanni's boss's orders there, right at the back.
Okay. So, I mean, but this is Charizard. Charizard will hand disrupt. Charizard loves to hand disrupt. So, Owyn's down to 2 prizes remaining. Owyn can gust up that Pidgeot to win the game next turn. Needs a... Wait a second, there's already a Future Boost on the benched Iron Fawns, right?
Yes.
So double turbo gusting, or if the one with free lightning energy on survives, just gusting, and that will be game for Owyn. This is getting tense, Shay. Oh, and by the way, time's been called. Okay. It doesn't matter. We're not going the full 3 turns here, mate.
We don't need to worry about time here, Ross. And you know what you said so confidently? Charizard EX will hand disrupt. There is no hand disrupt currently in the hand. Does have Nest-Dash, Industrious, and Sizes available. As it stands right now, Ross, Fabien needs to find that. Professor Churro scenario. Oh, they've got the Pidgeot! The Professor Churro!
Oh, he's picked up the Pidgeot with the 1 Professor Churro scenario in the deck. And I don't think Owyn's got a good option here.
Oh, no.
For the last couple of prizes. And Fabien here will win the game next turn with Charizard.
Well,
Owyn's got to win this turn.
I mean, you could lose the Legacy Energy in the active and say, well, at least you're going to take 1 prize if you carry this one, but then, you know, would lose to a boss's orders at the very least. The Professor's, could remove the boss's orders from the hand via Iono if Owyn opts to play it. But, yeah, you're right. There's going to be no easy way. You can't, well, I guess you can Gust and play Iono at the same time if you use Pokemon Catcher, but it's become a lot harder here for Owyn.
Do we gust Bibarel and just leave the one in the active with legacy energy and say, I hope you don't have gusting?
Yeah.
That is an option.
Could be an option.
Because Fabien only wins if he doesn't KO the legacy energy, and we've already seen the single Temple of Sin of this game, haven't we?
Yes, yeah.
So that's not an option anymore for Fabien. That one of Professor Turo was huge there. Oh, and here we see it coming in the active with the legacy energy.
Wait, we can two-shot this Charizard, right? They both have future boost energy capsules with no double turbo.
You hit 160, doubles 2.
Oh, only
320,
160. Yeah, you're
you'll
correct.
be 10 damage away. And I think you see the resignation there. Here comes, well, that's irrelevant, frankly.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here? We are getting a KO, but are we going to be getting a KO on the right Iron Thorns, or are we going to have one more turn remaining? I don't think Owyn can KO the Charizard, though. I think it's 10 remaining. I think it maxes out at 160.
Yeah, you're right. As we are going to see the Industrious Incisors, there's no boss's orders there in that hand.
Oh,
going to see it. There we go.
There we go. Fabien wins 2 games to 1. Iron Thorns looked such a good idea, but unfortunately, that Professor Turo scenario onto the Pidgeot was just too much. And look, we keep saying these Charizard decks are getting greedy. They're playing lots of one-offs. Well, that one-off, I think, fair to say, won Fabien that game. It looked like Owyn had such an easy route to victory, but then we see that Professor Turo scenario rip it away.
Yeah, that was the perfect scenario, you could say, for Professor Turo there, coming right when he needed it, just to remove that Pidgeot from play, so no easy KOs there for Owyn, as that's going to look like it's going to end as a 1-1 in a tie.
Unfortunately so, and like we said, you can get into day 2 of a 5-0-3 record.
Yeah.
That is absolutely possible, but the reality of the situation is very few players are going to go 5-0-3, and for a lot of players, that tie is going to end up feeling a lot more like a loss by the time we get to the end of the day. It's not over.
Nope.
And if you make day 2, that tie can absolutely give you that extra point that you need to go even further in the tournament. But right now, I think Owyn really... Oh, it wasn't a tie. It wasn't a tie. Fabien won.
But I thought he attacked into Legacy Energy, no?
Did we end up in a tie there?
I think that was a tie, yeah.
That was a tie. Oh, my goodness. So it was a tie. So, yeah, unfortunately... Yeah, so we have had confirmation it was a tie. And yeah, so I was right. I was talking about a tie. I was second guessing myself.
Yeah, what's going on?
Second guess myself.
We were just so frazzled after that game. You couldn't see us. We were literally eyes on the screen like this, watching the entire time. Yeah, we were so excited.
I tell you what, I love end games like that, because we're like, oh, it looks like Owyn's got the win. Oh, but oh no, he's got the Professor scenario. The Fabien's got the win. Oh no, wait, what about the Legacy Energy? But what if he's got the boss's orders? He doesn't have the boss's orders, and it's just a proper back and forth there.
I always describe those games as like pendulums of power. The pendulum just swings from one player, then back to the other, and what an absolute barnstormer that was. Now, it does end in a tie, unfortunately, but that was entertaining. I was a big fan of that.
Yeah, that was a really fun best of 3. It always makes me a little bit sad when we have a game that good, that entertaining, between players that good, and it does end in a tie, but you kind of watch it and you're like, a tie does kind of feel like that was a very tight game. We saw game 1 win from Owyn, we saw the game 2 win from Fabien, and then that game 3 there was just, it was so tight, and so it really could have gone either way. And let's be clear here, with cancelling Cologne turning off Pidgeot, that one of Professor Turo scenario, it's one card in your deck which is not that easily searchable.
No.
You know, I know some people at home might have been watching and going, well, of course he's going to play Professor Turo scenario. I mean, yeah, if he can find it.
Yeah.
Finding it that turn was huge.
Yeah, having it right in the hand there, just properly closing any openings there for Owyn, just saying, right, Owyn, you got a bit close there, closer than I'd like. Let me just slam that door shut and say, you're not winning this one, mate. But I think you are correct. After watching that all pan out, a tie seems perfectly fair. We saw in game 1, Iron Thorns just doing exactly what it needs to do. And then in game 2, Charizard got off to the races there after that immense cancelling clone combination turn. And in game 3, we saw a bit of both, right? Iron Thorns was doing its thing, and then Fabien again had that cancelling clone when you needed it. And I think that was the tail of the tape there. We said that cancelling clone can win you the game, but you have to find it at the right time. Fabien did that and was able to wrap up a tie.
Indeed. Now, one thing which we saw in that game, A-Spec, huge.
Oh, yeah.
Iron Thorns, there are a lot of different A-Specs. There's only one but there is one Ironforge in this room playing Dangerous Laser as I think it's literally the only deck playing Dangerous Laser. But there's one quad Ironforge in the room this weekend playing Dangerous Laser. If Owyn's playing Dangerous Laser, he loses that match.
Yes.
Legacy
sure.
Energy
Yeah.
is it was a last-ditch effort, and it worked. It kept him, it got a tie rather than a loss. And look, I know we don't like ties on day one, for all the reasons we've laid out, but the fact of the matter is, it's still better than a loss, because it gives you that chance at 5-0-3, and if you do make day two, we're going to see a lot of people, you know, that when we get the asymmetrical top cut, that one extra point could get you in. So I think, Shay, we're going to have a bit of an argument about ace specs in a minute.
Are we?
I think we got a